Hey, what's up, guys? I want to welcome you out to another episode of According To Kaz Queen. And as always, I'm Kaz.
And I'm Queen.
I want to welcome you guys out to this little podcast of ours. These are conversations that happen between a husband and wife in the privacy of our own home that we bring to you guys to make you think, to make you laugh, to be introspective. But of course, we want to open up the lines of communication between men and women. As always, you can follow us on all streaming services, wherever you hear your podcast, of course, and we are also on Black with No Chaser. So make sure that you download the Black with No Chaser radio app. All right. It's in the iStore. It's in the Google Play Store, the BWNC radio app. Make sure you check us out there. And of course, you can check us out on YouTube. Of course, youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. That's youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. Make sure that you subscribe, like the page, hit the bell so you can get those notifications. And if you're watching us, you know what happens when I put my finger right there. There you go. youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. Make sure that you subscribe to that page. And of course, this is brought to you by the Kundi Collection. All right. www.kundicollective.com. All right. www.kundicollective.com. Got a new one on today. As a matter of fact, some of y'all see being in Mississippi as the problem. I see it as the solution. Shouts out to the good brother Maximus Wright for giving us another really dope quote that we have turned into another t-shirt that we actually sold a couple of, immediately when this thing hit the internet, of course. So shouts out to all my Mississippi folks who are here in the state being the solution. All right. You see being in Mississippi as the problem. We see being in Mississippi as the solution. We'll talk about that in just 1 second. But of course, I know you guys may have been looking for a new episode on last week. Well, Tuesday was the not Juneteenth day. Tuesday was. We were celebrating not Juneteenth on last Tuesday. So we were taking a break. We got a chance to get out and we got a chance to get a little respite, got a chance to get a little vacation and go out and enjoy some off time. Took off from absolutely everything that, we had going on, and we had some us time. The little one was away and she was, in other parts of the state doing some summertime stuff, and we got a chance to get away. So there was no show last week. If you were looking for it, if you were checking for it on YouTube, if you were on Spotify checking for it, there was no new show. All right. Because we didn't do one because we were taking a break. We are getting close to the end of season 2, and we'll be getting there real soon. And of course, you'll know that because we'll let you know when we're getting close to the season finale. But we've been putting in the work, putting these episodes together, man. So we're back. We are back in full effect, and we got some things to talk about this week, a lot of things to talk about. But I want to get your thoughts on this because you saw this quote when I posted it, and you guys are seeing the T-shirt right now. Of course, again, you can go to www.kundicollective.com and get this shirt. Y'all see being in Mississippi as the problem. I see it as the solution. And we've had this conversation a lot. We've talked about it a lot. We've talked about Mississippi, being in Mississippi, living, fighting in Mississippi. We've also talked about, people who choose to ply their trade and make their way in other places as well. So, there was a little bit of debate going back and forth when the post went up, but I see being in Mississippi as a solution. I see it absolutely as a solution for what ails us here because, if we give our best and our brightest away to other places, then how are we going to ever level up here? But I kind of want to get your thoughts on that as a Mississippian and as knowing and as, believing this quote being as dope and as powerful as it is. Being in Mississippi, being seen as the problem for a lot of people, but seeing it as a solution. Is it all about perspective?
I think so. I don't know why my mic is tripping.
I'm trying to fix that for you. You gotta screw it right there.
I was screwing the wrong thing. Thanks,
yes.
babe.
Yes.
So, I think it's a matter of perception. I think it's also a matter of individual conviction. Because there is an argument to be made for having a full view of the world. So I am always one for leaving the state to experience life outside of Mississippi, but I feel that way about most things. Like, I don't understand getting on one job and having one job all your life and retire. Yeah. Like, I think there needs to be an experience. I think people need to, dive into different things before they figure out what matters to them, what they can contribute to, what their truest passion is. I don't believe that you have to leave to be successful. I don't believe that. Right. But I believe that if you leave and you go out there and gain something, knowledge, perspective, wisdom of any kind, and you bring that back, that can only make us better as a state. What I actually have the most issue with is people who leave and then condemn those of us who stay. That is an issue for me because, I can respect the fact that you feel like you need to leave. And if you feel like you can be more successful someplace else, then, I can respect that as well. But those of us who choose to stay because we want to break down the walls that have been built that you do not feel necessary to actually put energy into to break down, you don't get to decide for us that something's wrong with us for wanting to be trailblazers and wanting to break that wall down. I believe that if no one makes the effort to break the wall down, it's just going to stay there. Right. I personally don't want my child or children to have to be the ones to break the wall down. So, it's a matter of perception. If you leave, one might argue that you just didn't have the energy or wherewithal to put that fight in. And that's fine. That's cool. But don't go wherever you go and then look back on Mississippians like the rest of the world who don't know Mississippi. Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand ever hating home. Home is home. Like, that's a part of you. Mississippi is we're bred and born in Mississippi. It'll forever be a part of who I am. So I'm always going to be connected to Mississippi, and I'm always going to be connected to Jackson. I was actually lived my early childhood in Clinton. I still have a very strong connection to Clinton. So Clinton, Mississippi is just right outside of Jackson for those of you who don't know. And you spent time in New York. Oh, yeah. I lived in New York for a while. I lived in Atlanta for a while. I think those experiences are what helped shape my perspective because I grew a lot. And being outside of this state helped me realize what needs to change in the state. So coming back here gave me an opportunity to help break those walls down, to help make that change, to be impactful in some way. Everybody ain't bred like that. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, as the saying goes, it's a po dog that won't wag his own tail. And, you get a lot of people here that, are caught up in that. They're caught up in the negativity and they're caught up in the narrative that has been painted about Mississippi. And they spend a lot of time downing Mississippi. Like, I don't understand the concept of being in a place, living in a place, laying your head in a place, raising your kids in a place, making your money in a place. I don't understand the concept of that happening. And then you get on social media and down Mississippi. We are not without our challenges as any other place is. I can't imagine a better place to be. And here's the thing. If you get a job offer someplace else that's going to pay you more money and you're going to be able to take care of your family, of course, you're going to go take that. I was never one to sit here and say that, you should take less money or, stay here if there's
and
not.
Struggle if you have another opportunity.
If there's not an opportunity for you in your field. There are some fields that just simply do not exist in the state of Mississippi that you have to go other places to do. That's unfortunate and that should change. But there are people here who are making money. There are people here who are being successful. There are people here that are being successful in business. There are people here who are being successful in sports. There are people who are being successful in entrepreneurship. There are people here who we have seen that are being successful in the music business. Myself being one of those people who never, ever lived any other place and was able to find success in the music business. And people, say all the time that, you have to leave. I don't agree with that. And I think in a lot of instances, again, we send our best and our brightest out and they go to other places. And, you hear them say, I'm going to return and I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring this back and I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And they never come back. They never come back. Some
of them come back.
I can, shouts out to Angie Thomas and shouts out to, KeKe, Layman, and to my man Dennis as well. David Dennis, writers, all writers. As a matter of fact, you've seen David Dennis on ESPN. You've seen KeKe, Layman, all over this country. Of course, Angie Thomas has had 2 of her books made into really huge movies. And they often come back to Mississippi and contribute. And I'd have to say that the authors from here are definitely coming back and giving back to the state. They gave them so much, and I'd like to see a lot of people in the other industries do that. But the solution for us in Mississippi is being in Mississippi. It's being here. It's in fighting the fight. If not us, then who is it going to be at some point? If everyone leaves and everybody decides that this fight is not worth fighting, then Mississippi will never level up.
Well, I'm personally am not for bondage in any form, any shape, in any way. Mm-hmm. So I will not put myself in a position where I am feeling unfree to move however I need to move, whatever that looks like. So if spirit guides me to go somewhere else and do some other work, I'm going to go. I'm not going to leave Mississippi, leave it from my heart, But I think that people need to understand that there is some reverence that has to be paid for being born and bred here.
Yes.
And I think that if you have that, then you can still contribute from wherever you are. And I just don't like, people get to make their own decisions. I'm not going to get involved in how people process what they need to do for their life. And I'm not going to shame anybody for leaving. I'm not going to shame anybody for staying. I think that if you're doing so in righteousness and doing so with good spirit, then I think you'll be able to contribute to your home. You know what I'm saying? I think that you'll willingly do that. What happens, though, is that people become tainted by the way things happen in this city, in this state. I am one of them. I've had many, many bouts with frustration and irritation and giving up and should I go on? And, people tired of hearing from me. They tired of seeing me. They don't come to my stuff. I'm trying so hard. I'm broke and I'm doing this. And, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that comes from watching other people succeed. And that is the issue. It's not Mississippi. It's watching other people and measuring yourself by their success.
Which never goes well.
It's only killing your passion.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Absolutely. Work on yourself and stay committed to what you're doing. And you probably need to stay off social media if you can't get to the point to where you can see what they're doing and be joyful about it and inspired by it, instead of looking at it and saying, well, dang, I did this too and it didn't work out for me. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that have to be taken into consideration as well.
It gets frustrating. Incidentally, I was having a conversation with the little one, and I think you kind of walked in on it. And my goodness, she is so bright and she is so smart. We were having a conversation about paying taxes and why do we pay taxes and how do you pay your bills? She just started asking me about how do you go about paying your bills and when does that happen and at what point do you start doing that? And, we were having that conversation.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was kind of explaining to her how that happens. And then she was talking about, why are things so much better in other countries? She was talking about other places you don't have to pay for health care. Other places, the cost of living, like, these are things that she obviously has read about. And I was just blown away at, the maturity of the conversation that she was having. Yeah. And then ultimately she asked, well, why were we born here then? Why are we here? Why are we here in this country? If this country costs so much, if this country does this and this country does that, and you have to pay all of this stuff and you still have to pay for healthcare and all this stuff, why are we here? And, outside of the fact that, well, your grandparents on my side and your mom's side, they were here and we were born here. And that's why we're here in this country. If the spirit or if fate moves us to relocate to another country at some point, then maybe that will happen. Yes, things are better in a lot of cases in other countries, but there are a lot of instances where things are better in this country. And you'll kind of learn those things as you get older and you start paying bills and you start having some responsibility. So I believe that's when you kind of walked in on the conversation. But, it was just crazy thinking about that, because I've had the conversation with her before about Mississippi. And with younger people now being exposed to the world through social media, a lot of them are asking the question of, why am I here? Why am I in Mississippi? Why would I stay in Mississippi when they're exposed to a lot of other stuff? So, having that conversation with your 13-year-old and already looking forward, to, what's going to happen with me and why are things like they are, it's tough as a parent. It's crazy, to have that conversation,
Wow, that's amazing, But I will say this, though. Don't expect that just because you leave Mississippi, there won't be trials and tribulations and struggle and hardship.
Yes.
Because that's everywhere, especially if your skin is melanated.
Yes.
That's just everywhere. So it's not like euphoria is outside once you get outside of Mississippi. You still have to work hard, twice as hard, 3 times as hard. You still gonna have struggles. They may not be the same struggles you have here, but It doesn't just evaporate because you leave Mississippi soil.
Yeah.
So most of the work is gonna have to be within yourself. And if you do that work and you have work ethic and you strive and you're built to last, you will be able to succeed no matter where you are. And contrary to what people believe, the support that you need may not look like it's coming from here, because I know a lot of people who have left here and all of a sudden Mississippi is Mississippi, and while they were here, they couldn't get no support. So, but there is support. You just don't see it or feel it the way you need to, because the work that you need to do is not being done on yourself.
And it's not going to come as fast as you want it to come, too.
It's not. Nothing is overnight. People are always looking for the easy, quick way to do things.
Well, social media has made that the case now, because people can go viral so fast. Now, if, people are putting out content, and if their content is not going viral immediately, they feel instantly like they don't have support, or, for those people who have been doing something continuously for years and they haven't gotten to the point where they want to get to, of course, they want to blame Mississippi. Mississippi gets blamed for the failures of every athlete, of every rapper, of every business person. Mississippi is always the reason for the failure, and they think that leaving here is going to fix that. Well, going to Atlanta and going to Houston and going to Dallas or moving to LA or moving to New York is not going to solve your problems. It does not magically go away because you leave. You still got to work, and there are people here who are proving every day that if you stay and work, you can be the solution. So y'all may see being in Mississippi as the problem, but I see it as the solution, and I hope that a lot of you out there as well see it as the solution. So with that being said, you know what we got to talk about, because we've been gone, but while we were gone, Essence Fest happened and a lot of different things happened, and man, the social media cycle, Black Twitter and all points in between, we got to talk about this KeKe Palmer situation and her baby daddy, her light-skinned baby daddy. for those of you that might have been under a rock, of course, KeKe Palmer was out on a girls trip and went to see Usher in Vegas and had on a very revealing dress, I could say. Usher was singing to her.
It wasn't very revealing.
It wasn't very revealing at all.
It was revealing.
It was revealing and could have been more revealing. I think it was docile compared to some other outfits that you have seen. Probably some outfits that you might have seen at Essence or even in Vegas on that same night. But, Usher was singing to her, one celebrity singing to another. It was completely innocent and playful as far as I looked at it. And lo and behold, KeKe's baby daddy got on social media later and, made a couple of comments about, her dancing with Usher and the dress and her being a mom and, this, that, and the other. And he was summarily attacked to the point where he deleted his Instagram and Twitter accounts.
But not quick enough.
Not quick enough. And the Twitter and Facebook and Instagram private investigators went back and saw tweets where he, talked about being insecure. They saw tweets where he was being transphobic and homophobic. They go to work. They go to work instantly.
Fast.
They go to work fast instantly.
Baby.
If you are not taking those tweets down, if you're not taking them down immediately, if you're not wiping that Twitter feed clean, if you're not wiping that Instagram feed clean, stuff that you have said 10 years ago, they're going to find it and they're going to post it. They all had receipts for it. And it raised the question, of course, the age-old debate between men and women. We started talking about boundaries. We started talking about respect in a relationship. We started talking about being a mother and how to carry yourself out in public when you're in a relationship, yada, yada, yada. The men are saying we just want to set boundaries. The women are saying that you're being controlling. I've got my thoughts on that, but I want to hear from you, having seen all of this, and we kind of talked about it briefly. But, I want to know, as a married woman, I want to know how you feel about that.
Well, so KeKe Palmer is one of those people that everybody loves. We just appreciate her because she's open and honest and transparent with us. She always has been. Mm-hmm. So we appreciate her. So coming for her is just gonna be a mistake off the bat.
It's gonna be a problem.
It's just right off the bat.
It's gonna be a problem.
But you picked a particular issue that involved body shaming. It involved women freedom of expression. Mm-hmm. It involved motherhood. Mm-hmm. Like, you picked the absolute
all the wrong fights.
Worst thing to actually make a stand on and to do that publicly. Your very first statement, sir, was you're a mom. As if being a mom somehow now makes you not sexy, not free to be your sexy self. Mm-hmm. And we all know KeKe has said that she is now very confident in her body. She loves her weight gain, her curves. What we saw was her showing us that.
She got some of them mommy curves on her now.
Living in her truest self. Mm-hmm. Something we all strive to do and deserve to be able to do. Mm-hmm. And you, sir, the person who she's supposed to be with, the person she's just had a baby with, the baby is 5 months. She just had a baby with you, and you shoot at her like that publicly. That was wrong. It was wrong. All up and down, left and right, in and out. It was wrong. Because here's what you should have did. Because contrary to what people are saying, this fella actually has the right to have this opinion. Sure. He can feel completely like the mother of his child should not dress like that. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. I would prefer that you don't. He has every right to feel that way. His problem was that he involved the entire world in his mental breakdown from seeing this. And truth be told, his issue was not with what she had on. His issue was with her free expression of love for this moment with Usher. Mm-hmm. He was uncomfortable with the flirtation. He was uncomfortable with her. I mean, she looked like he was the furthest thing from her mind. And I think that is what his problem was. So your question is, as a married woman, how I feel about it.
Yes.
If you tell me, which I know you would never, we've had this discussion, but if you told me, baby, I don't want you to wear that. I would absolutely not wear it. I know a lot of women are going to have a problem with that, but this is me. This is the truth about who I am. Because if I saw him in something that I didn't want him to wear, I want to be able to express that to him. Now, whether or not he listens and does it, that's totally on him. But I want to be able to freely express to the person that I'm spending my life with that I don't necessarily like this outfit. I don't necessarily like this. I want to be able to express that. He has the right to say it.
That's fair.
He shouldn't have said it publicly because that was a private conversation and also one that should have been had before y'all started this lifelong work together.
Yes.
Because she might not choose that. She might not want a man who has anything to say about how she dresses, which is her right. But you can't get on Instagram or Twitter somewhere and address this with her publicly. That was just not well thought out. It just wasn't thoughtful.
No. It was a light skin move.
I assume that they are not together anymore because neither one of them follow each other anymore. They
unfollowed each other, yes.
And this morning, I posted KeKe being the petty goddess that she is, singing Let It Burn on her page.
Yeah.
Didn't say a word, just sang the song. And it was lovable.
Yeah.
Absolutely lovable.
And you brought it on yourself, light-skinned fella. You brought it on yourself, two things, first of all. You praise publicly and you critique privately, first of all. There's that. And then secondly, when you bring it to social media, it becomes all of our problem. We are all involved now. So when you take it to social media, the question is, what are we going to do about it? So now you done brought it to social media. Everybody is in it. So everybody was going to respond. You should have just kept that to yourself, and that should have been a private conversation. I'm not going to get into the discussions about who's the breadwinner in the house and who makes the most money. That's insignificant, really, in this particular instance. I will agree with you on the fact that he was fair in having a problem with it. You can have a problem with it when you're in a relationship. The problem was speaking about it publicly. The
way he said it.
If you are insecure, which, those tweets were found. If you are insecure and this is something that you have been struggling with, A, get therapy and heal, and B, you should have had a conversation with her before she left or had that conversation privately, and maybe that would have been fixed. Or maybe altogether, KeKe Palmer might not be the person that you need to be with. Y'all might just need a co-parent.
Listen, if you can't handle this dress, baby, that's the beginning.
She's a celebrity.
She's just starting. She just got these curves. She just got this cushion on her tail. Mm-hmm. She just got it. She new to it. Man, this is finna be like this summer. KeKe might be naked all summer.
Yep.
So if you can't take that dress, which was...
it was docile.
Her whole tail was out, but people wear that bikinis. You know what I'm saying? So
it looked like she had something over a bikini.
Yes,
a one
that's
piece,
exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what it looked like. So, bringing it to the mom thing, he projected his insecurity onto her.
It was.
That's all he did. He projected his insecurity onto her.
It was light skinnedness all over that. Light skinned fellas, you took an L with this one. All you had to do, my friend, was sit at home, and like I said on social media a couple of days ago, you should have let the preheat take place. You should have let her get that preheat on. You should have let Usher get it nice and warm, and she'd have came home and she'd have put it on you, and y'all could have made you another baby. You'd have been like Kevin Federline. You'd have been in there with two of them babies in place, and you would have solidified your spot with KeKe for the rest of your life. All you had to do was just sit back and chill. It's Usher. Man, it's Vegas.
He was singing "There Goes My Baby."
There it is.
What's
she
supposed to do?
Yeah.
He was singing right there in front of her to her. What's she supposed to do?
And let me say this. All of you ladies who are like, I'm going to respect my man, and what are you going to do? Okay, Usher comes up to you and pulls you up on stage. You telling me you finna tell Usher, "Oh no, I'm sorry, Usher. No, sir, I'm sorry. You have to keep your distance. I'm married."
Some people would do that.
And it's ridiculous.
Baby, some people would do that.
Okay,
and
that's fine. Let's just say that they'll do that. But he's an entertainer. His job is to entertain. People get pulled up on stage all the time. Janet Jackson does it. Beyonce does it. He does it. People get pulled up on stage all the time. It's a performance. It's a performer on stage.
And she's a celebrity, so people want to see that.
So stop with the I wouldn't have disrespected my husband. It's Usher, for crying out loud. Okay, if I'm in the crowd and Usher grabs my wife's hand and pulls her up on stage, if she even for an inkling acted like she was not finna go up there on stage and let me get pictures of her up on stage with Usher, I would be sitting down in the crowd like, baby, what the hell you doing?
Would you really?
Usher is calling you up on stage. Get your ass up there on that stage. Usher is calling you on stage. Get up there.
What would be too much?
It's Usher.
So if I was grinding on Usher and he had me on the bed, because I've seen them put people on the bed and do the grinding thing and all that would be fine.
Who you coming home with?
Well, listen, some people might not make it home.
Well, I mean, if he take her in front of your face, in front of the crowd, then that's a whole nother issue altogether. That thing was doomed from the start, if that's the case. So
you had bigger problems to begin with.
Yeah, way bigger problems than that. But for the most part, you grind on my wife, you're going to preheat that oven, and we going back to the hotel, and it's going to go down. That's what it is. You're going home with me. And as long as I know that you're going home with me, the rest of it is entertainment. Usher has to do what he has to do. He's not saying, okay, who are the single ladies in the crowd? Let me go particularly and specifically to y'all and bring y'all. I mean, well, he was looking for a particular type of single woman, a kid.
But he was looking. He was looking.
Yeah.
That was the point. He was looking. Usher was performing.
Yeah. I mean, well, we can go all the way to R. Kelly coming to Mississippi and having that court case because he was sleeping with somebody's wife. So he wasn't particularly looking for single women. He was looking for women.
He was just looking. Yeah.
And
sure.
Young women. Very young women. I mean, he's
young girls.
He's a pedophile.
Yeah. But we're not going to go down that road.
He's a convicted pedophile.
He is.
Convicted.
Definitely
will be in prison forever. Because he likes young girls and never got help. He's a criminal. So
I was in the store, put a pin in that. I was in the store. And one of my favorite Family Dollar cashiers, there was a guy, a dark-skinned guy with a beard and gray sweatpants, ladies, by the way, in the line in front of me. When he walked away, she said, "Oh, my God, he smells so good." I said, "Girl, he was cute, too." And she said, I said, "You don't think he was cute?" She said, he was too dark for me. I like light-skinned guys. Mm-hmm. And I said, "What?" Like, I cannot remember the last time I heard that kind of statement, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "Dark-skinned guys are crazy." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yes, dark-skinned guys have always been really crazy. Like, I've had guys drive by my house and, try to follow me and stalk me, and they've all been dark skinned. I've never had that happen with light skin." So, first of all, sorry about the colorism thing. Y'all know what this is. But second of all, it is amazing to me the perspective of people's experiences and how they change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I've had a lot of foolishness. My foolishness came from light-skinned guys, not from dark-skinned guys. Mm-hmm. I would put money on the dark-skinned guys not necessarily being as foolish.
It's all about perspective.
And experience.
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
It is something. I will say again, as I said at the top of the show, 90% of the time, instances like those that have happened with KeKe's baby daddy, they will be light-skinned because the light-skinned guys are constantly in their feelings.
And why is that?
Because they light-skinned.
It's that way because they don't have the pressures of being threatening.
I don't know what it is. I think maybe somebody should do a study on it.
It's a little bit of entitlement because life is...
I don't know. Incidentally, do you know that your boy Jonah Hill was getting raked over the coals for the same thing? His ex released text that he was sending her, And he was basically telling her the same thing. Some surf culture or something that she's in, he didn't like her being a part of it. He didn't like her being chummy with
black?
dudes. I don't know if she's black or not. I don't know. Is she black? I don't know. We had to go back and look. But I saw it because somebody had a tweet about Jonah Hill and KeKe's baby daddy and said both of them were being controlling or trying to control the women. And then I went back and did some research and I saw the text that he was sending her. Basically, he was saying, this is what I want from a woman that I'm dating. These are the boundaries that I'm setting. And he said at the end of it, if you can't follow that, you want to do your thing, then I'm not the guy for you, which again is fair. I don't think that that's controlling. I think,
fair.
I think
he's setting boundaries. He's protecting himself.
I think at the end of the day, this was a private conversation. He didn't go to Twitter with it, but she took it to Twitter and has made it into a thing. But I think it was fair that, you are absolutely positively able to set boundaries. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Everyone is able to
self-care.
Set boundaries. So if you are a guy and you're a woman wearing revealing clothes and you're a woman going out and, going to Vegas and dancing on stage with Usher or dancing on stage with Jay-Z or whoever it might be, if that is a problem for you, you need to state that in the beginning. I said something on Facebook the other day that, men are not as secure as they like to come off as, and also they're not as honest as they should be. And if you are a guy and you are insecure and that's something that bothers you, these are conversations that you need to have with your significant other or your wife. That, men are scared to have these conversations, and then these instances come up, and then you've invested time in these relationships, and now there's a conflict. If you're a guy that has a problem with that and you want your woman to dress a certain way and you want her to act a certain way, these are conversations that you need to have ahead of time so those boundaries can be set. If you don't want to be with someone who wants to wear what they want to wear when they go out and they want to dance on stage with Usher, you should say that in the beginning of the relationship, and then you can decide at that point if that's the person that you want to be with.
True, but also it might help to figure out why that's a problem for you.
Yes.
So try therapy, because there's something that has happened in your life that has made you uncomfortable with a woman being comfortable with herself.
Yes.
So fix that. And then you may not have, the issue may not actually be that. Mm-hmm. The issue is probably not that. So if you figure out what the issue is, then you can start projecting your insecurity onto your woman.
And this goes both ways. I want to make sure that we're not piling on the men. This goes both ways. Women are not always as honest as well. If you are someone who was team KeKe, but you don't like your husband liking pics on IG, if liking pics on IG and other places. How is
that the same?
It's exactly the same
How?
thing. It's an insecurity.
I mean, okay.
The reason why he had a problem with KeKe, I still think a little bit of it was the dress, but of course we all know that it was Usher Raymond. So, if you were afraid that Usher Raymond was going to smash your baby mama, that's a fair fear to have. There's a lot of dudes that have that very same fear of Usher Raymond or anybody for that matter. But he had a fear that you dancing up on Usher Raymond is going to cause me to lose you. I think that is the same instance when you have women who do the same thing with the picture liking, or JT throwing the phone in Lil Uzi's face at the BET Awards because he took a picture with Ice Spice. The same thing. It's insecurity there. Would you not agree?
I think an argument can be made for that being an insecurity, sure.
Yes.
But also, just like the dude has the right to do it, he just shouldn't do it on social media. Maybe that should be applied to the liking of the picture.
Yes. I mean, you have a conversation with the person privately and say, I don't like this. And then the person has the decision at that point to decide if they want to do it
and
or
then
not.
You decide why it is that it bothers you and do the work.
Yes. Yes. So, ladies, you are not absolved of this. You are just as culpable as the men. I think in this day and age, there's a lot of...
Ladies ain't the only one that have problems with the liking of the pictures, though.
And the men do too.
Yeah,
men do
so
too.
basically, everything we're saying goes for everybody.
Yes.
Men and women.
For everybody. If there's an insecurity there for whatever reason, and for a lot of people, the insecurity of liking pictures or dancing on Usher or dancing on having a dance with another dude at the club or another dude buying you a drink, whatever the case is, all of that comes from clearly some experience that you have had in your life at some point that causes you to think like that and causes you to react like that. Figure out what that is and try to fix it.
And most of the time, they don't recognize it as insecurity. They recognize it as disrespect. So you have to, take yourself out of it, out of the equation a little bit, and then do a little bit more soul searching. The question is, why does this bother me? You know what I'm saying? That's the question that you ask yourself. Why am I bothered by this? That'll give you the answer that you need to have to be able to work on it. That's a starting point. Because it's real easy to say, I don't care, I'm not bothered by it, I just find it to be disrespectful. Well, that's kind of grazing over the issue.
Yes.
Because the issue is still underlining. You're disrespected because you're insecure.
Right. And so
why are you
disrespectful
insecure?
to you? Because it's not to everyone. So if this is your personal preference, that's cool, and you want somebody that lines up with, socially how you, expect to act in a relationship,
and be willing to let go of them, because it's some people out there. It's some people out there who are who are absolutely going to be aligned with what you want.
Absolutely, I'm talking about lock, stock, and barrel.
Yes,
gonna be right there with
your
you.
problem is I don't want my woman wearing this. There are women out there who
won't wear it.
They would never wear it.
Won't wear it.
So maybe the problem is you just, with the wrong person.
Yeah, you're not equally yoked. At all. So, I mean, there's that issue. So, real quick, before we get out of here, I want to talk about...
Or you need to do some work. They may not necessarily be the wrong person. You just need to communicate.
And the work is hard. So,
absolutely.
I think there's
a
lot
vulnerable.
of people, especially the younger people that I see on social media doing this. It's hard. You got to actually do the work, because you have to admit that I have an insecurity here and I want to talk about it and I want to fix it.
Oh, child. Admitting that you have an insecurity is really hard.
Because saying, everybody's like, it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Okay, I get it. You feel it's disrespectful, but that disrespect that you feel comes from a place. Why do you feel like that? Why do you feel if your boyfriend or girlfriend likes a picture of someone painting their house and they like the picture and they're of the opposite sex and you have a problem with that, then why do you feel like that? There has to be a reason for that.
I'll give you a perfect example, and I'm going to be transparent and vulnerable in this moment.
Okay.
We have had the liking of the picture issue. You have liked pictures of people that we know that maybe had on bikinis or something like that, and I hit the ceiling. And the reason why I hit the ceiling is because I had body issues. I was not comfortable wearing a bikini. So what I saw in my head was, this is what he wants, and I am not able to give this to him. Nothing he did at all indicated that. But in my mind, because I have had issues with being verbally abused and body shamed, because of that, and still carrying that was a trigger. So I have to do constant work on things like that. But I'm honest with myself. You have to be honest with yourself. It's very clear to me that this man loves me, so I am creating an issue because I have my own insecurities that he's done nothing, by the way, to contribute to. All of these insecurities are baggage that I am bringing into our relationship. And this was a while ago, long time ago. But these are insecurities that I brought into relationship from a previous relationship where I was abused. So I had to do the work to recognize that A, I'm projecting. B, this is my issue. C, I'm insecure about my body. So what do? Because I can't keep putting this off on him. I can't keep putting him in this situation where he has to fix something about him that's not wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that's a hard thing to do. It's very hard. It's hard on him to hear and have to, figure out how to manage. And it's hard on me to admit, because I don't want to be the person that got a problem with you liking a picture. And it ain't got nothing to do with the picture. It's all about me. It's all about me facing the fact that, dang, I'm not finna take no picture with me having no bikini on, but he want to see somebody in a bikini. So don't do that no more. That's weird. and unfair.
Wow. We did have that conversation. And y'all know that we are very transparent with y'all. So we did have that conversation. That's how it went. That's how the process went. But it took a minute to get to that point because there had to be a revelation there. And then there had to be the work that had to be done to get through it.
Oh, yeah, and I'm stubborn, too.
We are not unlike anybody else. That was an issue. I've talked about, my sense of security, and I've talked about, the preheat and, the Jay-Z concert we went to, that whole thing. I won't get into that whole story now. You can go check it out on my Facebook page if you want to. But my level of security was different than yours. And we had to figure out how to make sure that we got on the same page about things. And that was part of it. And as a man, I appreciate that work because in that instance, I was kind of like, what can I do? Because this was being put on me. And I was like, hey, this is what's happening. And it's not this, and this. But there were other issues that were there. So what we're saying to you is if you've got someone who has an issue with you liking other females' pictures or other males' pictures, or they got a problem with you wearing certain things out of the house, that may be disrespectful to them, but it comes from a place, and you should have a conversation of figuring out, why is this a trigger for me? Why is this a problem? A lot of times it's, I have been cheated on. A lot of times it's, I have been in an abusive relationship. A lot of times it's been, I had this experience.
Lack of confidence.
Yes, a lack of confidence that's there. And that's exactly what KeKe's baby daddy had, was a lack of confidence and some insecurities, and he did not have that conversation ahead of time, because I guarantee you, had he had it, I don't think any of that would have happened. But you didn't. And here we are now, and y'all may never, ever be together as a couple. Y'all may be co-parenting from here on out. But again, it might be a good thing, because maybe y'all were not supposed to be together. So there's that. But at any rate, so India Arie, after the Essence Fest, she came out and made some comments about Megan Thee Stallion. She made some comments about Janelle Monae, the ladies being risque, the ladies twerking, the ladies showing their breasts. What are we doing? What's happening here? Pretty much the old auntie shaking my fist, you kids get off my yard type thing.
Is that what it was?
Kind of deal. I did not expect that from India Arie. Did not expect it. But it's happening. So, we watched, I don't think we didn't see Megan's full performance. We missed Janelle Monae. She's got her titties out pretty much every day now. So, if you missed it at that particular
point. The titty Monae.
Yeah, she's pulling them titties out every chance that she can get. And I'm cool with it. I think, there's not anybody that really, well, there's actually some dudes who for some reason have a problem with it. I don't understand for the life of me what issue you have with titties and seeing them. I'm glad she's showing her titties.
Are you glad?
I mean,
why are you glad?
Who doesn't like to see titties? Who has a problem with a woman showing her titties? Who has a problem with it is what I want to know. Okay, let's talk about it at a later time. But if you're watching this video, if you got a problem with women showing their titties, leave a comment. Let's talk about it. Let's find out what's wrong with you from that point. But let's just talk about the issue of the twerking and the titties and India Arie. So you saw it. You saw the comment. Are things getting out of hand at the Essence Fest now? Has the Essence Fest become too, whatever you want to call it? Is it straying away from what it was supposed to be?
What was it supposed to be?
It said it's supposed to be about women's empowerment. That's how it started out being. Started out as women's empowerment, and then it was a bunch of R&B and neo soul artists, and now they've been having a lot of hip hop, and they've got a lot of different things, probably evolving and keeping up with the times. But, I've seen a lot of people like, oh, I'm not going back to Essence Fest anymore. It's changed. It's different now. And of course, anytime that hip hop is involved and gets in and things change and evolve with a particular event and younger people start coming, inevitably it's going to be some old fogey who's going to be like, oh, like Essence anymore. I'm not going no more. It's changed. They done changed.
I don't know if I would say old fogies. If so, I'm probably an old fogey because, you go for a certain thing. Once that element is gone, then it's changed.
Which was what?
the R&B nice groove type thing.
You got a lot of that though.
I mean, maybe they don't think so. I don't know.
I mean, too much of anything is too much. I mean, you went from R&B, neo soul, and maybe having a hip hop artist sprinkled in here and there, to now is kind of, and it still wasn't dominated by hip hop. This was the 50th anniversary of hip hop, so there was probably more rap than it ever been at the Essence Fest. But I don't think it's going to be like that all the time. JD's set went a little long. It didn't have to be that long. Didn't get a chance to see Ice Cube's set yet. We're going to try to find that and check that out. But from what we saw, things were nice.
I just feel like people have every right to have their own opinions about whatever it is that's going on. People deserve the right to have their opinions. Mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily surprised by India's opinion on this. It's within the line of what India stands for and the type of artist she is. It falls into that line. The issue that gets a little gray for me is how she defines empowerment. Mm-hmm. But again, that is completely up to her. I am for sure an India Arie fan.
Yes,
I absolutely love her. I think I dig her light. I think she is a genuine, truthful person who offers us the real, true experience of her selfness, and I enjoy her. And I respect her opinion. I really do. I personally don't see any reason why I would go into a venue and watch Meg Thee Stallion. I'm not a fan. I don't necessarily need to see her. So I'm more in line with that. However, I'm not going to take away from those who find empowerment in what Megan offers. Mm-hmm. It's just not what I find to be empowering. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily don't find it. It's just not what speaks to me to make me feel empowered. Mm-hmm. But I do recognize, have seen, have counseled women who are empowered by Meg and Cardi B and mm-hmm. Those people. And every now and then a song come on. She got a song called Anxiety that is on my playlist. I listen to it every day during workout. So okay. I really do. Yeah, I dig some of the stuff. I don't download all her album or anything like that, but I dig some of the stuff. And I also, you just got to respect people's differences. Everybody got a right. The problem is we have this platform where people get on there and say whatever they think whenever they want to say it. We used to didn't have that. So now that we have that, we have the ability to see inside people that we never heard of. Never had before. So now you have to make a judgment on who they are based on what they said. And that's kind of unfair. You know what I'm saying? But it is the truth. It is the truth of who they are. But it's just, you say something and it's out there for the world to see and judge and make their own opinions about. And, so I don't know. I feel like India she has every right to her opinion. She doesn't speak for everyone. So if she's not speaking for you, why are you mad? Because she is speaking for some people.
And I think maybe she needed to have, qualified that. When she made the statement. We're in a day and age now where people speak of things in absolutes. If you did not like Meg Thee Stallion being there, and if you did not like Janelle Monae showing her titties, there were 20 or 30 other acts that you could have went to see.
And you didn't have to say nothing. And
you didn't have to even deal with it. If you go into a festival like that, you go in a grocery store every day. In the grocery store, there are items in the grocery store that you do not eat and you do not like. Mm-hmm. There are items in the grocery store that you hate and you would never, ever make for yourself, never, ever purchase, never, ever buy. You don't fuck with them at all. Mm-hmm. You know what you do when you go in the grocery store and you go down that aisle and you see that stuff, you pass right by it and you go to the aisle that has the items that you want and you get them and you go and purchase them. And when you go to the cashier doesn't say, hey, I see you purchased this. Why don't you take this? No, they don't do that at all. Or if you got something in your cart that the cashier doesn't like, she doesn't say, hey, I don't like this. I'm not finna check this out. She checks out what you want. You go to the grocery store, you get what you want, and you leave out of the damn grocery store. When you go to Essence Fest, go see what the hell you want to see. And the other stuff you don't want to see, don't go see it.
That is.
When you see Meg Thee Stallion twerking online, or Cardi B, or Sukianna, or Sexy Red, or whoever it is that y'all are mad at this week, when you see them on your timeline, keep scrolling. Mm-hmm. That's all you got to do.
Exactly.
And what you can do on top of that is if you have something that you like that you think needs to be promoted as much as they are promoting it, then what you need to do is promote it. I don't think people understand this, and this is a public relations thing. So I'm going to give y'all a little game right now. Whenever you tweet or share or post about something that you don't like, you are giving them free publicity.
Absolutely.
Every time that you do it. I saw so many people last week talking about Sukianna and Sexy Red, and she got this song, and she dancing at the BET Awards, and what does this world come to? And Meg Thee Stallion is twerking on stage at Essence Fest, and Janelle Monae showing her titty, all of that. Every time y'all said that, y'all got added to the search engine, so that when somebody went in to look at that, that came up.
And then the stuff you do like that
gets
you're not
pushed
sharing
down the
it,
algorithm.
Nobody sees it.
Nobody sees it. It gets pushed down the algorithm. So I have learned that if it's something that I don't like, I don't talk about it. I don't mention it.
Absolutely.
I don't say anything about it. I don't post about it. I don't promote it, because I want it to go away. And if you want it to go away, then you stop talking about it. This world revolves around the algorithm. It evolves around capitalism. It evolves around numbers and what's hot. And when you talk about stuff that you don't like, you are adding to the algorithm, and you're adding to the numbers, and you're just making it more visible. When you talk about, I hate Sexy Red and Sukianna, they coming out here and making women look like this, and they doing this, this, and this. And everybody that said, I hated Meg Thee Stallion's performance, and I hated Janelle Monae showing her titty, every time you said that, 20 people went online and Googled Meg Thee Stallion at Essence, and they Googled Janelle Monae showing her titty at Essence, and they got more views on top of it. So every time you talk about it, it makes people go look. So if you don't like it, don't talk about it. If you don't like it, scroll past it. If you don't like it, don't promote it. Mm-hmm. And it may just go away. If everybody did that collectively, it would be much easier. If y'all are mad because Meg is performing at Essence Fest, guess what? The next time she comes on stage at Essence Fest, if nobody shows up and if nobody talks about the performance, guess what's going to happen? They're not going to book her again. They're not going to ask her back. It's just that simple. That's the way that it works. If you want, Ludacris said the same thing about the Fast and Furious movies. They asked him, when are y'all going to stop making these movies? And Ludacris said, why in the hell would we stop making them? Why would we do that?
They still want them.
We're making billions of dollars making these movies. Why would we stop making Fast and Furious movies? They're trying to figure out how to make more. You know what would happen? If y'all didn't go see the damn movies, they wouldn't make them. The Fast and Furious movie just came out, and it was #1 at the box office again.
It just doesn't make any good sense.
Doesn't make any sense. If you don't like the movies so much, then who's going to see them?
That's right.
Who's going to see them? So, right. You know, so if you don't like the twerking, if you don't like the titties being shown, that's fine. But every time that you talk about it, there it is. So, you know, just do less talking and do less sharing, and you'll see less of the things that you don't want. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if you don't like it, just scroll. It's very easy. Or just get off social media.
The urge to be seen and heard.
Yeah, everybody wants their opinion to be heard.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But at any rate, man, we're going to get on out of here. You know, we're back in full effect. The holiday, the not Juneteenth holiday, has passed. We're getting into the hottest part of the summer. And,
my God.
Yeah, and we're heating up. Almost at the end of season 2 for According to Kaz Queen. But, you know, of course, y'all can continue to support. Please make sure that you're following us on all social media platforms. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. Make sure you do that, and make sure you go to YouTube as well. All right, make sure you check all of that out. But anyway, for According to Kaz Queen, we'll see you guys next time. All right, peace.